Hi, it's Amy. Welcome to Strength Reversed. It's late tonight, and so I'm going to try to get this done. I am going to answer the questions that everyone asked me in my last video. So this is what Juliet Peekaboo Rose did. She called for questions and then answered all the questions. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and I've been watching everyone else's responses. I'm kind of nervous because I'm really bad at coming up with my favorite movie or favorite song or things like that. It just really depends. and so I often draw a blank, but we'll see how this goes. I did organize them into tarot and non-tarot. Actually, the first category is called tarot and woo-woo, and then I have like the non-tarot. And I have my little computer right here so I can see these questions. How did you first discover tarot, and was it love at first sight? It was definitely love at first sight, but I was just talking to Manuela from a place of stillness, and I told her I have no idea how I first discovered tarot. It just kind of always was. When I was late teens or into college, I tried to be Wiccan, and I just discovered religion wasn't my bag. But I think that's when I started getting into tarot. But it wasn't like I didn't know what it was. So I don't remember a time when I didn't know what tarot was. I just can't remember. I can't remember buying my first deck. I can't remember any of this. So it just was always kind of there, and something that was really mysterious and Scorpio-like, and so of course I was into it, and yeah, but I just thought it was really cool right from the start. How old were you when you first read with tarot cards, and what was the name of that deck? I'm sure it had to be Robin Wood, and I would have been early 20s, probably, college. Have you ever done or had a card reading that was totally wrong? Absolutely. I do not record the readings that I do for other people. I just kind of, they're out there and now they belong to the querent. But I absolutely have done readings, I'm sure, where it was like, yeah, that was wrong. But I have had readings where I walked away going, that was just total bullshit. Disappointingly, I had a reading in New Orleans, and from a New Orleans tarot reader, and it just didn't really work because she started reading without even letting me ask a question, and so the reading didn't really pertain to what I wanted to know. It was just kind of very general, so that was, yeah. Have you ever, okay, that's one I just did. What do you do when someone comes to you for a reading, but they don't really want to hear anything other than what they wish to hear? Well, that does happen kind of frequently, and I just read what the cards say, and I don't give in. Like, I don't reread because they didn't like that answer. I think in the end, if they don't like it, sorry, but you can maybe give them an action that they could take, or tell them to just sit with it for a week or so and see what they think of it at a later time. But I won't go back and, try to give them a different answer. If you work with crystals, how do you work with them? I don't really work with crystals. I went through a crystal phase a number of years ago, and I like the way they look, and I have like my ubiquitous box O crystals. My son painted this when he was probably like 3. But I have a bunch of different, and I have a big bowl of unpolished stones too. I think that's petrified wood. And I just kind of fiddle with them. I think this is snowflake obsidian. And I know the names of some and have forgotten the names of others, but here's my lapis. So that's how I work with them. Sometimes I'll hold one and just because it looks nice, but other than that, that's it. Do you have any non-internet tarot buddies? I do. I have a meetup that sadly doesn't really work for me anymore. The person who ran the meetup moved away, and it used to be a very large group of people, and we would get together and exchange readings or just shoot the breeze about tarot. And someone else took over, and I mean someone who's awesome and I really like her, but the format changed a little and a lot of the old regulars kind of fell away, and it became sort of a teacher-student kind of thing, which I wasn't really into. So, but I do have friends and acquaintances who are into tarot, and so I can talk to them about tarot. But they're not like just tarot buddies, if that makes sense. How often do you read tarot outside? Not super often, but if I'm going to the beach, I definitely will take my cards because I love reading in that energy, just all the water and that. I love being by the ocean. Sometimes I'll go out onto the hammock and read there or out on my porch, and I do put my decks outside just to soak up the energy once in a while. But sometimes it's kind of hard because I have had cards blow away and it's kind of hard to wrangle them sometimes. If any tarot card from a specific deck could come to life and go for a walk with you, which one would it be? And where would you go walking if you could go anywhere at all? That's a hard one. These are the questions that I'm really bad at. A tarot card from a specific deck. Well, I do have a favorite tarot card, like of all time, but I don't think it's someone who I would go walking with. If that makes sense. Oh my gosh. Pass. I'm going to come back to that one. But if I could go walking anywhere at all, it would either be on a beach or I'm feeling called lately to the southwest, like Sedona or something like that. If you could jump into and visit one of the 78 tarot cards, which one would you choose and why? I guess I'm supposed to say strength, and that would probably be a helpful conversation, but probably the star card. I just think that looks just so magical and beautiful and, yeah, pretty. I'm just one of those people, it depends on the day you ask me. Some days I might say I would jump into the devil card because that looks like a whole lot of Scorpio fun. So you are, okay, I know this is from Rochelle. Yes, I am a negative blood type. Do you have vivid dreams? If so, do you often have a certain theme? I don't remember my dreams a lot because especially during the week, on the weekends, I dream a lot more because during the week, I really need to work on getting more sleep. But on the weekends, I do have very vivid dreams, and one theme I often have in dreams is stairs, flights of stairs. I used to have dreams all the time about trying to find a certain floor in a building, and I'd be going up and down stairs. And I just had a dream the other night where I was running from someone upstairs. It was in a big furniture store, but it was one of those kind of weird sort of dreams. Do I meditate? If so, is meditation part of your daily routine? I feel like it should be. It's one of those things I really want to get into a regular practice, but I do meditate. A lot of times I do something with movement like yoga, just something to clear my mind. Once in a while I'll do like a traditional meditation. I do journey, which I would never talk about the things that I do when I journey, but I do. Is it a daily routine? No, but I do try to stop and just be quiet for a couple of minutes every day. Just kind of connect with my guides and I guess, pray, I would call it, and that is a daily routine. Do you ever take your tarot cards to school with you? And if so, have any of your students or fellow teachers ever asked about them or for a reading? I do take my cards to school only because I have a purse deck, but I do not read at school. I don't, it's just like not the place. There's so much energy and so many people, and just I'm in work mode. It's hard to get into a space to read, but there are several teachers at school who dabble in tarot and who have approached me about tarot. I don't even really know how my friend Sarah knows I have a YouTube channel and stuff like that, but I guess it must be because of the bumper sticker on my car that says support your local tarot reader. But students, no, I don't talk about that with students. No way, no how. If you could pick any tarot card, major or minor, that you think best represents yourself, which card would it be? I did a video about this a long time ago. I think it's the King of Swords. And I don't necessarily think that's very flattering, but I think it is. It represents my outer appearance. It doesn't really represent what's going on in my mind, but I think I can be intense. I am very direct. You know, I'm a little hard on myself, and I hold people to high standards, and so I sometimes have this like RBF thing going on, which sometimes works for me. So I think the King of Swords would be the card I would say is most like me. If all my tarot decks went missing, which deck or decks would you rebuy? You know, I don't know if I would rebuy the Robinwood, because I think it's just my deck that I love. I don't think buying another Robinwood deck would feel the same, but I would probably rebuy it. I would also rebuy Lightseers. I would also rebuy a standard Rider-Waite, probably Radiant Wise Spirit. And I don't know if I would buy any other decks beyond that. I would wait to see what came back to me. Although there are some I would really, really want to come back to me, like Golden Girls, like my Tarot of the Weird, like the Titanic Tarot. If applicable, do you have a favorite guidebook? Well, you can't go wrong with 78 Degrees of Wisdom, but I don't think I do. Not guidebook in the sense that there's, you know, every card has a definition. Oh, I do. Okay. And that is A Magical Course in Tarot. It's just really gentle. And there's no reverse meanings listed, but that's okay. I just think it's sort of a very beautiful, the cards are described in a really beautiful way. And that is by Michelle Morgan. So that is one of my favorites. Do you do anything special before you read tarot for yourself and or others? I have a routine, but not a ritual. So I try to take some deep breaths, try to ground. I try to, you know, talk to my guides and just kind of focus and clear my mind, you know, and open up to a message. Do you have the time? You know, I do, however, like to set the mood. So if I have a lot of time, then of course I'm going to light candles. I'm going to probably light some Nag Champa, and yeah. If you have the time and opportunity to make your very own tarot deck, what would the theme be for that deck? You know, I was thinking about this on and off. I don't really feel called to make my own deck at this point, but it would either be something very, it would either have like glitter edging. I would find a way to do that. Or I would probably make a bitchy tarot deck. I've thought about that. I would like to have a bitchy, snarky tarot deck. where the cards are just kind of like negative. Because I think that kind of stuff is hilarious. Like, you know, I would call the Fool like, you're a dumbass or something like that. The Magician would be like, you're full of yourself, or, I don't know, something like that. Which deck are you currently working with? Are there any decks in your collection you plan to rehome? Any you don't own that intrigue you? I'm currently working with Lightseers as always and Robinwood as always, but I'm coming up here in April. I'm going to be working a lot with the Titanic Tarot because Manuela from A Place of Stillness and I are going to do Titanic readings. That is coming up April 10th, and I will tell you more about that later. April 10th is the anniversary of when the Titanic set sail, and anyway, I'm excited about that. Any decks that I plan to rehome? Yes, just the garage sale Doreen Virtue decks. Eventually I will probably sell those. Any that you own, that you don't own that intrigue you. Murder of Crows has come up. It's, it's one of those that's in the back of my mind and it's calling to me and I keep looking at it and looking at it. But I kind of wanted the limited edition with the red splotches. Anyway, I think I missed the boat on that one. In what ways do you relate or not relate to your zodiac sign? How do you think it enhances or interferes with your ability to read cards or in types of card readings that you do? I'm a Scorpio and I totally relate to my sign. I'm also Aries rising and I totally relate to that too. And so I think because I love all things mysterious and deep, that I really, it really resonates, the tarot resonates with me for that reason. All things that are sort of secret. It does influence the kind of readings that I do because I don't really like the surfacey, what I call low energy questions. I like the deep, tough questions. They're really introspective, maybe things that are really difficult to ask kind of questions. Those are just the questions that I like to ask the tarot. I like to have a deeper conversation and not just, is he going to call me? Let's see. What tarot-related content creator have you been following on YouTube the longest? I think I have been following Jean Fiorini the longest. I love her. She's the kind of channel that I wanted to make if I had the tarot knowledge that she has. I adore her channel. Her videos are like hardcore, informative, and yeah, she's badass. She's a tarot badass. Okay, I ran out of space, so I have to splice and dice here. This is the non-tarot list of questions, and the first one is, do you have a bucket list? If so, what's something on the list you've always wanted to do but just haven't done yet? I don't really have a bucket list. I do have a bucket list, but I've already done a couple of things, like 1.5 things. One thing on my bucket list was to catch a 10-pound bass, and I've already almost done that. So if I ever do catch a 10-pound bass, I'm done fishing forever. I've caught like an 8.5 pound bass, okay? The other thing on my bucket list, which I have done twice, is to buy a Coach purse at Goodwill. I have found a Coach purse at Goodwill 2 times. 2 times. The third thing on my bucket list is to make out with James Spader in an 80s movie. So I'm still waiting for that to happen. Do you have a favorite strategy for getting your students to listen to you? Students listen. Do you mean get their attention or keep them engaged? I don't really have a strategy, I don't think. Like an elementary teacher would be, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me or something like that. I just kind of stare. I stare them down until someone's like, dude, shh. Dude, she's looking at you. That's kind of how it goes. I run a tight ship, so I don't usually have to get their attention. I usually am, yeah. Anyway, what is your favorite thing about working in education? Well, it depends on the time of year. If it's May, I'm going to say summer. But I think feeling like it's something meaningful, even though I can't really tell in the moment that this is making any impact, I feel like it's something important that I'm doing. Also, the office supplies. What drew you to teaching? You know, teaching is one of those jobs where it just has to be a calling or you can't do it well. And I've always wanted to be a teacher ever since I was a little kid. And I don't know, I've just always wanted to be a teacher. It wasn't like any teacher like motivated me to be a teacher, or I just always did. If you had not gone into teaching, what profession interests you? You know, I think I would make a good detective. Certain things really intrigue me morbidly, like crime scene cleanup or being, you know, a forensic pathologist or something, or doing some sort of CSI. But I could not do those things because I would not sleep. I would never be able to sleep. I would never be able to eat again, probably. So those things intrigue me, but no can do. For a while, I wanted to be a professor of linguistics, and I studied linguistics in college, and then I decided I did not want to have to write and stay published and do research. I just wanted to teach, so I went to teacher school. If you were able to easily change your career, what new career would you choose and why? Well, teachers usually go through a weekly or even daily, I can't do this anymore kind of point, where they're like, that's it, I'm not coming back next year. Okay, I go through this constantly. But then I think, and do what? What would I do? And then I hear crickets in my head, you know. Favorite genres of books to read. You know, I love fiction, but I do also really love nonfiction. I just love informative books. I love Eric Larson, you know, books about history that are well written and don't put you to sleep. But I, of course, love fiction too. And with fiction, I like a lot of, not mysteries, I would say, but a lot of psychological kind of stuff, or things that are, have some humor to them. Other than She's Come Undone, that's by Wally Lamb, any other novels at the top of your list? So many. These kinds of questions are so hard for me. I was thinking about The Falls by Joyce Carol Oates. I love fiction books that are based something on reality. The Falls is about the Love Canal incident in Niagara Falls. Another Wally Lamb book, I can't remember if it's The Hour I First Believed or I Know This Much Is True. I can't ever remember which one is about Columbine, but that was really good too. So many books. This is like a hard question. Any grammar rules you have trouble remembering? Yes. Subject pronouns and object pronouns. But I have a trick to remembering them, like, you know, saying between you and I or between you and me. If you take away the you would say it's between me. You wouldn't say between I. So that's how I remember. Favorite food or type of food cuisine? You know, I am not a picky eater. I love sushi. I love all kinds of weird seafood. I love paella. I love a lot of different kinds of foods. You know what I don't like? I'm not really into Italian. I do not like pasta like American style Italian. I don't really like pasta because it doesn't taste like anything and it makes me feel uncomfortably full. And I don't like garlic breath. To me, garlic breath is kind of the most putrid odor on the planet. So I don't like that. You have a long road trip but can only have one CD. Yes, I said CD. What would it be? My students made fun of me the other day for playing a DVD. They were like, oh my God, DVD. And I was like, are we not doing that anymore? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Probably like a greatest hits of the 80s. Probably like a Depeche Mode CD or maybe Motley Crue. Because, you know, music is just one of those things that depends on what mood I'm in. But if I could only listen to one, probably Depeche Mode. What are a few activities you look forward to doing in the summer? I look forward to doing nothing, okay? I look forward to swinging in the hammock and staring into space. What is your favorite film genre and what is your favorite movie? Oh my God. And then someone else said your top 3 movies. That is impossible. My favorite genre, I like comedies. I also like, I don't like horror films, but I like more psychological stuff. Let's see, favorite movie. Office Space is one of my all-time favorites. I cannot think. Top 3 movies. I love, Thunderheart is one of my all-time favorite movies. This is one of those things as soon as I post this, I'm going to go, I can't believe I forgot this and this and this. What movies, if any, have impacted the way you see the world? Oh my gosh. Again, Thunderheart. That's just like so many. I studied language, death, and attrition. That was the kind of linguistics that I like to do. And I studied a lot of as you know, Native American languages as it pertains to language death. And so I studied a lot of history, and so that movie just like punches me in the gut. Let's see, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That movie really stuck with me and made me think in a really difficult spot in my life. Oh my gosh, there are so many I want to say that I can't think of. Girls Just Want to Have Fun instantly takes me back to my best friend and I in like middle school. I can recite that movie to you line by line. So many movies. Let's see. Those are so hard. Those are so hard. If you could choose to replace an actor or role from a movie, which role would you choose? For example, Rose from Titanic. Well, I'm not going to replace Rose from Titanic because don't want to do any sort of Titanic thing, but you know, whoever made out with James Spader in an 80s movie, because you know that's on my bucket list. If you could spend a sabbatical abroad, where would you go and what would you do? You know, Michael and I really want to go to Australia. He loves Australia. He loves the thought of Australia. I don't know if I could suffer the plane ride. I'm super claustrophobic, but we have this fantasy of everyone in Australia being like Kath and Kim. Let's see. If you could listen to one musical artist for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? Oh my gosh, that's impossible. I guess it would have to be Motley Crue, just because they take me back. Gotta love Motley Crue. You've just won the lottery. What is the first thing you would purchase? I would probably hire a chef and hire a live-in massage therapist. And then I would buy like my dream car. I would splurge on a car that had lots of bells and whistles. If you had to adopt an exotic animal, which one would you choose? Cats, dogs, rabbits are not exotic. I would not adopt an exotic animal because I don't think that they're animals that should be adopted. But if I could, probably an elephant. I really like elephants. I just think that they're so interesting, the way they interact with each other and remember each other. What is one of the most memorable adventures you have ever been on? That's a good one. Gosh. I'm trying to remember. You know, my grandfather, when I was a kid, probably like 9, 10, during the summers, he would take me and my cousin all like traveling all around the US. So I went to the top of the Statue of Liberty. I went to the top of the St. Louis Arch. I went to Graceland. I went to I saw the Chattanooga Choo Choo. I've been to like lots of different places like that, and those were always fun adventures. What countries have I been to? I have been to a lot of the US, but not out west. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, and I studied in Venezuela. What is my favorite smell? My favorite smell, this is weird, but it is tobacco, like pipe tobacco that you would get in a can or a big pouch. It's just heavenly. It smells so divine. I could just stick my face in a big can of tobacco. Is that weird? Does pineapple belong on pizza? This is the last question. Absolutely, pineapple belongs on pizza, but only if there's bacon on the pizza too. So my favorite, I'm not a pizza lover, but my favorite pizza is thin crust, pineapple, bacon, and I don't like tomato sauce, so I get barbecue sauce instead. That's the best pizza. Okay. Am I weird? I think I am in a good way, maybe, hopefully. Maybe not too weird. Okay, thanks you guys for tuning in. Hopefully I have enough space on my phone to splice and dice and attach these two parts together. But make sure to like or subscribe, and I can't wait to see other people's answers. Thanks, guys.